Welcome to The Power of Art. This is a lecture on part 5, chapter 1, defining art. The source of the term art is the Latin word ars, which means skill. Although this is the oldest meaning of art, it is no longer the most common meaning. For us, the realm of the arts suggests creative endeavors and includes an entire range of activities classified as cultural. These creative arts are often subdivided into the broad categories of the performing arts, such as theater, music, and dance, and literary arts, such as poetry, essays, and novels, and the visual arts. In everyday conversation, however, most people assume art means visual art, art that we experience primarily through our sense of sight. Saying that someone is an artist usually suggests that he or she draws, paints, sculpts, or designs. This is the meaning of art that this class will be using. We define the visual arts to include the artistic media of painting, sculpture, and architecture, as well as outstanding examples of drawing, printmaking, photography, design, digital art, decorative arts, and crafts. They are usually subdivided into the fine arts, such as painting, printmaking, and sculpture, and the applied arts, such as architecture and design. For centuries in Western art, paintings and sculptures have been usually seen as a higher form of artistic production than applied or useful arts, such as book illustration or wallpaper. However, for the last 100 years or so, this distinction has not been as important. In Eastern art, for example, there has never been such a division. In the Chinese master Han Kan's Night Shining White from the 8th century, the calligraphy on the scroll was considered just as expressive and as much pure art as the painting of the horse. The work of fine art is usually an original or one-of-a-kind creation. Each work of art is the result of the artist's personal effort, the touch of his or her hands, the fresh invention of the artist's mind, spirit, and talent. There are exceptions to this rule. Prints, whether traditional or digital, for instance, are produced in a series from an original plate or digital image designed by the artist. Photographs, which were once thought of as mere mechanical reproductions of reality, have also been elevated to the status of fine art. Although their artistic merit has been recognized, however, prints and photographs are usually less valued and less expensive than drawings, paintings, or sculptures by the same artists. This reflects the fact that the work is not unique. It has been duplicated. A black and white print by a great photographer, however, is far more valuable than the painting of a mediocre artist. Folk art. Art is generally considered to be folk art rather than fine art when it is the work of untrained artists working in rural areas. Folk art includes painting, sculpture, and the decorative arts, but where a fine art chest may be made of ebony inlaid with ivory, the folk chest will be a simple wood box painted in bright colors. American folk art has become very popular in recent years and commands high prices in antique stores. Whole museums and galleries are devoted to folk art collections. A good example of folk, sometimes called naive, is the artist Grandma Moses, who was born on a farm in New York State in 1860, but did not really begin painting until the 1930s when she was almost 80. Although she had no formal training, her pictures became so popular by the time she died in 1961, she was a household name in the United States, and her scenes were reproduced on everything from greeting cards to kitchen curtains. Her painting of the 4th of July even hung in the White House. Although she was not as well known today as she was at the height of her popularity in the 1950s, Grandma Moses' talent transformed an elderly farm widow into a nationally famous personality. The power of her art lies in its freshness and vitality. Through her pictures, Anna Mary Robertson Moses had the chance not only to recreate and, in a sense, relive her own past, but also to share that world with her viewers. Most popular subjects included scenes of old-fashioned farm life, celebrations of holidays, and the seasons. She continues in her autobiography. In my childhood days, life was different. In many ways, we were slower. Still, we had a good and happy life. I think people enjoyed life more in their way. At least they happier. They don't take the time to be happy nowadays. When artists create useful or functional objects, such as ceramic pots, glass vases, silver bowls, woven rugs, and even wooden chairs, these are typically put in the category of crafts or decorative arts. A good example is a Navajo eye dazzler rug. Woven and designed by Native American women in the late 19th century, these blankets have a strong visual impact because of their bold use of color and simple geometric designs. These weavings were named eye dazzlers because of the use of new, brighter yarn that became available to Native Americans during this period. Although purists and collectors tended to prefer blankets made with native vegetable dyes, the weavers embraced the new colors. It's not surprising that modern artists in search of a purely visual art have been inspired by these blankets and other decorative arts, such as quilts. The decoration of useful objects has been a source of visual pleasure for viewers in many ages and cultures. The term crafts is also often used to describe contemporary objects that are handmade. Craft art is perhaps the most popular way of appreciating and practicing art in our society. Many people who would be afraid to invest in an original sculpture are perfectly comfortable in buying a hand-thrown pot, while individuals who insist they can't draw a straight line enjoy classes on weaving or wood carving. Although some art historians and critics still think that such things as jewelry should not be considered art at all, attitudes are changing. Imaginative metal, fiber, and woodwork are now generally included in international surveys of art and design. What about functional items that are mass-produced? Are they part of the world of visual arts? A broad definition of art would certainly include manufactured objects that are well designed. In fact, the Museum of Modern Art in New York devotes an entire section